Hello, Venice High School. It's me again, Micah. And for this lesson, we are going to be talking about something that you may already know about, and it is gentrification. And you guys go to Venice High School, which means that you go to a high school in which the city that the high school is in is a city that's been through a lot of gentrification. And if you know a little bit about the history of Venice, it was a much different place than what it is now, maybe 10, 20, and 30 years ago. And so today we're going to be talking about gentrification because I think it affects a lot of people, especially in Los Angeles or wherever you guys may live, whatever part of the city you guys live in. You've probably seen gentrification, and you'll probably be living with the effects of gentrification in the future. So, to start off, we're going to talk about exactly what gentrification is. Gentrification is when in a certain neighborhood or community, there becomes an influx or there becomes a bigger amount of people who have a larger amount of wealth. So, in other words, gentrification happens when new people move into a city or neighborhood that have more money than the people that used to live there or live there currently. Um, so that's what gentrification is. It's a change in the economic kind of structure of a certain city, and and it basically changes how much it costs to live in a certain place, usually. So we're going to talk a little about gentrification in Venice Beach in my experience because I'm originally from Venice and I was born and raised in Venice. I didn't go to Venice High School though. I went to Santa Monica High School. But in my experience, growing up in Venice was a very kind of enriching place, and I liked it a lot. But as I got older and grew up, when I was maybe about 18 through maybe 20, I started noticing a lot of changes in the city, and I wasn't really happy about them because more than it was just seeing new people move into a neighborhood, I don't have a problem with that, and I don't have a problem with different neighbors. But the problem that I had with gentrification was that though people were moving in, it wasn't just the fact that new people were moving in; it was the fact that because new people were moving in who were more wealthy than the people who were originally living there, the prices of things that were around the city, like restaurants and eating spots and other things, uh, those prices went up, and also the prices of buying a house went up, and I felt I couldn't really live affordably in the community that I had spent my whole life in, and it didn't used to be that way. I used to be able to go to certain restaurants, get good food, and then have money that I needed. But now, if I go to Venice and I want to eat somewhere, I really can't afford to eat that at that restaurant or at that particular place because it's so expensive. And also, I grew up in Venice and I always liked that city, or I liked the city, and I wanted to live there as an adult and on my own, but it almost seems impossible now because of how much the price of rent and owning a house in Venice has went up. So it feels like the kind of beachfront community that I lived in is no longer accessible to me. And that is kind of the story, not for just myself living in Venice, but it's the story of a lot of other Los Angelinos and other cities around Los Angeles that have also been gentrified. It Gentrification is really kind of troubling in my perspective because it doesn't allow people to live in the place that they grew up in comfortably, and it feels like you're being forced out of your own community and your own neighborhood. So that's my experience in gentrification, and that's a lot of other people's experiences as well. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the art project that's going to be attached to gentrification. So, however you feel about gentrification, whether it's the first time you've heard the word, or you don't care about it, or you do care about it, this art project, because we all live in the same community right now, at least, and this gentrification is something that's going to affect you as well as the neighbors you live with. I kind of want you guys to address how you feel about gentrification and at least think about it for a little bit if you haven't thought about it. And in this exercise, what I want you guys to do is, I want you guys, if you guys have cameras, I'm pretty sure everyone might have a phone with a camera, or if you don't have a phone with a camera, but you have a camera somewhere, I want you to go somewhere that you think fits fits the definition of a place or a building maybe that's been gentrified. Or, for example, it could be a building that was changed into something else that kind of stands out or is different from everything else that was around there before. So it could be like a new restaurant or a new boutique store or something that has changed recently or fairly recently that wasn't close to or wasn't similar to what everything else was there before. So I don't know where all of you guys live, but I'm sure you guys live close enough to a place that has experienced gentrification. And so the project is that you would go out and take a picture of a place that you feel has been gentrified. And you're going to take a picture, save it, whatever, and then there's two options. If you don't have access to like a home printer, you can take that picture, and if you have like an iPhone or an iPad or a laptop, you can, if you have an iPhone, you can go to edit your photo, and then there's like this little button, and when you hit the edit options, there's like a 3 dots on the top right part of your iPhone screen, and it says markup, and you can kind of draw on top of your photo and add text as well. Because what we're going to be doing with these photos of places that have changed is we're going to be taking the pictures of the place that changed, and then we're going to be changing it ourselves. So we're kind of doing like, we're taking a place that's been gentrified and been changed, and then we're taking the picture of that place, and then we're changing it ourselves so that you can kind of see what it looks like or feels like to change something that was there before, because that's kind of what gentrification is. So for now, I guys want you to go take some pictures, and then I'm gonna pause this video and we're gonna pick up later, and then we're going to edit those pictures either with a print out of the picture if you have a printer at home, or if you can use your phone to edit the picture. And if there's any kind of situation where you can't edit your picture, like your phone doesn't allow you to draw on a picture, or if you don't have a printer at home, don't worry, the picture will be fine enough, and you can actually just take the picture and then you can write about how you feel, or take another blank piece of paper and draw out how you feel. So don't feel like if you don't think you have the resources to make this happen, you can simply take a piece of paper and whatever supplies you do have, and then you can look at the place or look at the picture you took, and then you can write or draw or make some kind of artwork about it. And I'm going to go into that a little bit in more detail later. But for now, it's a good idea to go get a camera, cell phone, whatever, and go take a picture. And then we're going to pick up again later. All right. Thank you. All right. So hopefully you guys have either thought of a place to take a picture of, or have already taken a picture of that place. But and if you couldn't print out the image of the picture you took, then here's what I want you guys to do. If you couldn't print out a picture, is I just want you to write a few sentences, like maybe 3 sentences, about addressing what was there before, how you feel about it now, and how you think other people in that community, if you're a person in that community, it could be how you feel as well, but how you think that community feels about that new place. And so, three sentences: one, what was it before? Two, how you feel about it? And three, how do you think the community feels about it? So, with that being said, that is pretty much the project. If you couldn't print it out, but if you could print it out, then we're gonna take our printed out picture. This one is mine. This is my next door neighbor's house when it got demolished. It's a picture I took a while ago when I was living on Brooks in Venice. And I am going to kind of do the same thing that those people who couldn't print out their picture are doing. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to be writing about what this is, but I'm going to be painting it or writing it on here. If you have crayons or colored pencils, crayons would work best, I think, or if you have like paint, it would work better. But we're going to work on drawing on photographs, and hopefully that's something that might be kind of new to you guys. But it can be a very interesting way of expressing yourself. It doesn't take a lot of skill because the photograph already looks realistic, so you already have that element of like it looks like reality. But then when you add whatever you're going to add on top of it, it gives you the ability to kind of like express more than what you took a picture of or what the image is of. So we're going to cut to another screen, and then we're going to go through how to kind of go about editing your picture. But we're going to do that on another screen. But for now, I'm just going to say that when you're adding to this picture, what you want to be doing is addressing what it was before, how you feel about it, and how you think your community feels about it, or the community that it takes place in feels about it. And you can do that through words. You can do that through symbols. I know we worked on symbols before, so hopefully you're going to be able to create, a feeling of a symbol that incorporates either how you feel about it, what was there before, or how you think the community feels about it. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna show you what mine looks like at the end, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about how I got there, and hopefully this is gonna be a interesting exercise. So we're gonna pick up right after this. All right, so this is what I did for my project and what I did with my photo. As you can see, it's very simple. And it's simple because the idea for this project isn't for you to be, the great artist who can paint everything exactly or whatever. The goal of this project is just to introduce yourself into thinking about gentrification, which is something that affects probably yourself and as well as your community and friends. Let's talk a little bit how I approached mine. The first question that I wanted to answer was the question of what was there before. And this is a picture of my next door neighbor's house as it was being demolished, and my neighbor who used to live there, her name was Chavella. So I put her name as a representation of what used to be there before. And then addressing how I felt about it, I put this smiley face, right? Smiley face, frowny face, because it's kind of, for me personally, I really feel bad about what happened in my neighborhood because I really liked the way it was. And I could have expressed it more articulately and maybe made a different symbol that wasn't so simple. But for me, it's like the way I feel about it is just like it's a general like upset feeling. So I thought the sad face was a good symbol for me. And then how I think other people feel about it is I used the symbol of a $sign with a crown above it because after talking to people in my neighborhood, I think they feel as if the money that people had when they moved in, like the new people, the people who were gentrifying the city, they had money, therefore everything went right for them. And because the people who lived there before didn't have as much money, their voices weren't heard. So money kind of had the power, and the power is represented by a crown. Like the money ruled over the city, or the money rules over the city still today. So that's how I address how I think the community feels about it. And in this, the 90210, that's the Venice zip code if you didn't know. But I put that there as an extra thing I just wanted to do. You didn't have to address the location or whatever. But yeah, that's how I did mine. Yours can look exactly like this or better or worse. It doesn't matter. The whole point of this is just to think about it. And as soon as how you can know you're successful is if you address, either if you couldn't print it out, you've addressed it in writing, but you've addressed somehow what used to be there, how you feel about it, and how you think the community feels about it. Once you address those things, whether it's through drawing or painting or just writing on another piece of paper, then you've finished the art, and it's good. So that's all you really need to do. And I hope to kind of recap. I hope this video, this lesson, helps you kind of think about something that's important and that affects yourself as well as others. Gentrification is a thing that's not probably going away very quickly, and its effects will probably last for quite some time. It'll probably be in history books. So it's important for you to kind of think about it and be a conscious person about it, so you can be a good citizen in the neighborhood you live in and think and care about things that other people are having a hard time dealing with. And so I hope this kind of pushes you to think about this subject more and try and listen and learn more about it. You can talk to other people who have experienced it and kind of understand where people are coming from, so that we can all kind of come together and deal with this issue that's taking place. So that's it for this lesson. I hope you guys enjoyed it and took something away from it. I wish you guys the best and have a good day.